Hi everyone, I hope you're doing great today, and I trust the Lord that you guys are all in good health. Well, I have a very urgent message to pass across, and I pray that when you see this message, that you will help us to share it as widely as you possibly can. But before I do that, I want to plead with you, please remember to subscribe to our channel and also click on the notification button so that when we upload a new video, you can get a notification, right? Isn't that okay? Wonderful. So I want to repeat something that I have said earlier in one or two of my videos, right? If you're watching me right now and you live in Europe, you live in America, you live in the Western world, please take these actions very seriously. Number one, if you are in a major city, if you can afford it, if it is possible for you, and I pray you can, go as far away from that major city as possible. If possible, go as far as 2 to 3 hours away from the major city, especially those of you who live in London, who live in major European cities. Move a little bit farther in to the countryside. Okay? That's number one. Number two, there must be bomb shelters in the city where you live. Africans, we don't have bomb shelters. We only trust God when an emergency like war happens. But you guys have got bomb shelters. And if you find out there is a bomb shelter in your city, if you can't find, go to the internet or ask your city council, is there any bomb shelter in this city? If you find it out, go there physically. Go and personally visit the shelter. If they will give you access, inspect it, walk around it, and get used to the place. And make friends with the people who are there. Take their phone numbers if it is possible. And be on standby for any eventuality. I have asked you guys before, that is number three, stockpile food that you can keep for a very long time, like grains, pasta, and all these things. Stockpile these things. I always say this to people. If nothing happens, your food is your food, you will still eat it. Is there anything wrong in just stockpiling on this things and keeping it just in case something happens? And I'm going to explain to you in a short while why I believe that you have to do these things now. Do you understand? Another option, which is number four, is if you have to travel out of Europe and America completely, I will please plead with you to make plans, make haste, and do it as quickly as possible. Especially if you're from Africa or from South America. You can go there. These places, from everything we've looked at, are supposed to be potentially safe, even though what they are planning is meant to go around the whole world. But we can see there's some type of safety in these locations. Africa, South America, and maybe if there's any other place, I will let us know in the future. But these are the places I can see for now. You might want to relocate. Remember, in my previous video, I told people who were moving from Ukraine and jumping into Poland and Romania and the rest of them that you don't actually have to stay there. So some people might think, oh, well, I think this is a better place. Let's just stay here. Don't stay there because another refugee situation might, I want to use might, so it won't look like I'm anticipating evil. But I'm telling you from everything we're looking at, a lot is going to happen to those regions again. Isn't it better you made your move now and not have to be stuck and be stranded again the same time and the same way you were stranded in Ukraine? And this is for people who are living in Ukraine. I'm pleading with you, people of God. These guys are getting ready for war. A bigger, massive war. You see, I tell people, I told us about the Third World War in January. The Third World War has broken out now. What we are looking at before our eyes is an escalation of the Third World War. If you look at the Europeans now, if you look at the Western powers, there are a lot of meetings taking place here and there all over the place. It is because they know that Putin has already put the nuclear deterrent on standby. They know. So whatever plans they are making right now, they are calculating their steps, they are calculating their actions before taking their step. They are actually still going to take that step. They are not going to forever fight and war with Russia inside of Ukraine. No, they are still going to engage Russia in a broader way. Now, something happened recently, which of course I was expecting that it would happen. Remember, Joe Biden had constantly told Americans, we're not going to be fighting with Russia. We don't want to go into face-to-face combat with Russia. We don't want to go into any war with Russia. When they say that to you in the media, they turn around again and say, yeah, we have our soldiers in Eastern Europe. America, together with NATO, has massively militarized those nations on the eastern flank that share common border with Russia and Ukraine. They've militarized them. Tens of thousands of American soldiers are there. And there are some of the mercenaries fighting inside of Ukraine. NATO, European citizens fighting inside of Ukraine. Even UK on the other day was raising soldiers who will come and volunteer to go and fight and kill Russian soldiers inside of Ukraine. This is really happening. And America tells you, oh, we just sent more weapons. I mean, if not that we are living in a very diabolical, unimaginably satanic era, how does any nation tell you that we've sent weapons to someone to kill you and you don't do anything? Isn't that war already? That's a declaration of war. If I'm fighting with someone and someone else is giving the person weapons to kill me, to come and fight me, I know that person is already at war with me. I remember that old adage in Igbo land, as a bird says that it is not really the person who shot me that I have issues with. It is the person who gave the order that they should shoot me. That's the one I have issues with. That's what is going on right now. And yet they don't see it as them engaging in a direct confrontation with Russia. But that's direct confrontation already, or maybe indirect confrontation. So America recently said that I heard this from Blinken. He spoke and I heard that they are negotiating with Poland to give American fighter jets to Poland so that Poland will give the Russian-made ones they have to Ukraine. So it's a swap, it's a barter kind of stuff. You give Ukraine the one you have, and then we give you the one we have, the one that we made. So that is even taking the whole confrontation thing to another level. And when that happened, Russian Ministry of Defense immediately issued a press release and said, for people who are receiving jets on behalf of Ukraine, we want to put you on notice and let you know that by what you are doing, you are actually practically getting into a direct confrontation with Russia. They said that. And I think I even posted it on my Twitter. So you can imagine where we are headed. If you have watched some of my videos in the past, you must have heard me 1, 2, 3, or 4 times saying that I personally believe that the trigger for an escalation is going to happen or come from Poland. If it skips Poland, it's probably going to fall on Romania. I've always said that from even the first time I began to make videos on Russia. It's probably going to be Poland. And the moment Russia goes to attack Poland for giving jets to Ukraine, what happens? It will be that Russia has now attacked a NATO member state. And then the same Biden who told you we don't want to go into any confrontation with Russia unless Russia decides to go further west. He will now go to Americans and say, now you see, I told you we don't want this. We never wanted this. But you can see right now, Russia has decided to go further west by attacking a NATO member state. The moment that happens, you're going to see NATO soldiers, NATO fighter jets, American soldiers, American fighter jets, and all the military power and might will be released to go after Russia. And they will start bombing everything. And it's at that moment that you know, as I do, and everybody should know this. You know that Russia would not waste a second to make this and turn it into a nuclear warfare. Many of you who don't know why superpowers and Western powers are scared to death about nuclear war, you need to go do a little bit of research on nuclear war. Nuclear war is like the end of the world. I think that's the best way to describe it for you to know. Maybe if I painted that picture, it would be easy for you to comprehend it. Nuclear war is like saying end of the world scenario. It's apocalyptic in nature. One nuclear warhead can eliminate a massive state in America, can destroy an entire country. Think about what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. Think about all these things. These are the kind of weapons that Russia has in large quantities. And it has the finest versions of them. And so when you say nuclear, this is what we're talking about. And America is aware. European Union is aware. Prime Minister Boris Johnson was saying that we don't dispute that Russia is a superpower. What makes Russia a superpower? It is the number of nuclear warheads that they have. Your nuclear capabilities determine the amount of respect you command in the Committee of Nations. If Russia had no nuclear power, not even a single person would call them to a round table to discuss anything. They would have compared Russia to join and become even the footmat of Europe long time ago. The only thing that scares everybody about Russia is the nuclear warheads, the nuclear weapons, the nuclear stockpile. And you know, like I've always said to us, these guys are playing a game of chess with us. You know, I was saying to myself, how is it possible that Shell pulled out of the joint venture agreement they had with Russia's Gazprom? I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, under strong pressure, under immense pressure from its European owners. And only 2 days ago, on Friday or so, 2 days ago, you won't believe that the same Shell went from behind and bought 100,000 metric tons of Russian crude oil and said that it was emergency, that if they didn't buy it, that the European citizens would have suffered because they used that crude oil for most of the things they use for their daily needs. They use it to manufacture so many things that the people need for their daily needs. Can you imagine this? So you know that the Russian oil is that important, and you guys are heaping all kinds of sanctions on Russia without preparation. In America today, California is selling gas at $7, an all-time historic high. Other places in America, $4, all-time high. Now, Russia has not pulled the plug already. This is just on speculation. Gas prices are moving to look at how many digits high. Then your question you're going to ask yourself is, these Western powers, are they not supposed to be the most intelligent amongst all the powers on earth, who must count the cost before they engage in a battle, who must make sure that they are okay before they make any move? How can they make a miscalculated move and not count the cost before doing what they're doing to Russia? No! They have already calculated. They've counted the cost. They know what the cost of heaping sanctions on Russia will be. But they have done it in such a way that when they do it, you are going to be the one to bear the brunt of that cost. You will pay the cost of them doing what they're doing to Russia prematurely. If you're doing this at the time that we have already weaned ourselves off of oil, if you're doing this at the time that other energy sources have been made rampant or made available in large quantities, it will make sense. But you know that the world still depends heavily on the oil that Russia has, and you are taking these actions. There is a reason they are taking the actions, so that you will suffer from it. They are going to bring about another form of pandemic. This one you came out of was COVID pandemic. The one they are bringing us into now is going to be an energy pandemic. All over the world, you will see vehicles packed and they can't move. Gas prices, oil prices will be so high that people will almost be trekking on the street. This is the second time I'm telling you this. It's a new kind of pandemic they are trying to bring about. But they want to use Ukraine as the fall guy that it has made itself. Ukraine became the elephant, or rather the grass where the two elephants are fighting. That's what has happened. So now they have an excuse, and they have a boogeyman, someone you can blame for what they're about to do. That's why I'm asking you, wherever you are, around that Europe, around the western part of the world, you better make haste and take cover. Because the plans they have for humanity is unbelievable. It's all about mass depopulation. They want to be able to take out about 3/4 of the human population. They want to bring the human population to a manageable degree where the Antichrist can easily manage it. That's what will happen. Because when the nuclear war begins and Russia begins to raid all these European cities and American cities, Joe Biden is not going to be there in the White House. Before anything happens, he's gone into the bunker. All these guys who are making these laws and showing their faces on TV, you will not see one of them. They will all go and hide in their underground bases. And you, the ordinary Joe and the ordinary Chi, you will be the ones to deal with this. You will be the ones to deal. I'm telling you the truth. The ordinary citizens, you will be the ones. That's why you need to wake up. Stop allowing these people to deceive you. Don't be caught unawares. Please don't be caught unawares. Whatever it is you can do in your own little capacity, just go ahead and do it and prepare. Just so that when something happens and you need to move, boom, you make your move immediately. It won't look like what happened in Ukraine. And I'm sorry that I have to go back to it, but I always remember that tweet that I sent out warning people to leave Ukraine. Repeated it again. Can you imagine? Sent out January 24th, repeated it February 14th, nobody listened. And I always sit down on my own when I'm thinking to myself, I'll be thinking, but what were they thinking? Probably they thought, who is this guy to come and be telling us what to do? I mean, look at all the things I'm seeing around me. Nothing shows me that anything is going to happen. He's just being an alarmist. Forget about that guy. Because when I tell you stuff, I always say things to you when it doesn't look like it. I say things to you when there's no sign of anything. But even in this case, the signs are abundant. And I'm saying this one to you now. Prepare ye so that you're not caught unawares. I pray that the Lord will give you the grace. For some of you who may not have the means to have the kind of preparation that you need or to make the move that you need to make, my prayer today is that the Most High will provide for you abundantly and give you the grace to do what you have to do when you have to do it. And may God bless and keep you and yours. Amen.